it's just really sad. And then, like they say, nobody ever protects the young black girls. Nobody never protects black women, and it just shows. Like it's so many people, and I'm not even talking about just y'all. It's so many people that just always trying to label a little black girl when she's 14, 15 years old. Oh, she grown. She's not grown. And I even heard some man up there saying that somewhere at 14 you can have sex with people. So that's not meaning that that's a good thing. Or like they said with the other guy, Spring, saying, oh, but yeah, oh, it was one girl, Sparkle family, but yeah, the rest of them was 18, 19. Just think about the shit you say, but it's young black girls. Protect young black girls. I don't know how many times we have to say it. Protect young black girls. I can't listen to somebody that even if he pissed on one kid, I can't listen to nobody like that. I don't give a damn. And DJ Fridays, I know that you said that the people be dancing and stepping in the name of love at that club. That's all good and dandy, but guess what? I'll be one of the people that wouldn't go back to that club because in Atlanta, I don't hear R. Kelly where I go. But that's all I had to say. And thank you again, Anthony. Thank you again for all the moderators and everything. And that's all I have to say. No disrespect, nobody.
Thank you so much, Pretty. Santa, I
Oh
know I'm
no,
sorry about that.
that's all right. No
Go
worries at
ahead.
all. So
What up?
first
What
of all,
up?
I'm not black or American, so
I'm
I
gonna
just
let
want to
this
say thank you
play
so much for letting me speak. I hope that
for
everything I
about
say
10,
comes across
15
like
minutes. Just bear with me.
100% respectfully.
This clubhouse right
Um,
now.
I can't obviously comment on a lot of
The room is
the
called Are
race
We
issues that have been brought up, but
parentheses
I
Black
can
America
comment on some of the
still
comments that have
muting
been made, especially about
R. Dot Kelly.
how women are seen and young girls, especially myself, for example, as Chris said, and as somebody else mentioned earlier, like it is fairly common for younger girls to go through a stage where thinking dating somebody older, perhaps in their 20s, when you're 15 years of age, is cool. Um, but what you have to then understand is that when you're 15, even if you feel like you're grown, you're not necessarily grown. Um, and I just want to say for Pretty flipped it very nicely, like Britt talking about 14-year-old boys, for example. It's exactly the same. Me now, I'm 22. I would never look at a 14-year-old boy and think, I'm attracted to that. I would like to date that. And I think a lot of the perspectives that have been brought up and spoken from in this chat from men especially, and I don't mean this disrespectfully because a lot of the men have actually said the opposite, but a lot of the perspectives that were brought up were very much from a point of view of like, if you're in your 20s and even if the girl is sort of like 17, 18, 19, she knows what she's doing. And I just want to say that's not the case. Like, you're speaking from a perspective, again, of experience, which again, everybody has different experiences and we all learn from them and we all take something from them. But those experiences are not universal for everybody. And um, I just think that at what point, for example, if you were younger and you were into older people, when you reach the age of that older person, how many of you looked to people that were your age when you were into that older person? But when you're at the old age, I'm not really making much sense. It's like 20 past 3 in the morning here. Sorry about
You're
that.
making sense. You're making sense. Keep
Like,
going.
how many people would look back at the age that they were at when they were kids and think to themselves, I fancy that? And that comes from women, and black women especially, that much I do know, being sexualized at a very, very young age. And it happens to men too, but it's more so with women. You can talk to any number of celebrities, only because celebrities are more in the social media, in the public eye, so they are more able to like give their opinions and be heard on a wider platform. How many girls and women do you hear talking about experiences they had when they were younger, not looking for male attention, but they were being sexualized by men um, in their 30s with wives, with children? So there's being sexual. Being sexual is one thing, and at what maturity is different in everybody. And at whatever age you become sexual, obviously we're all on our own journeys. But being sexualized is very different, and especially when it comes to people like R. Kelly, for example, when it comes to Michael Jackson, for example, the people that they were looking towards and the people that they were sexualizing were not necessarily um, it wasn't necessarily right to do that. And I think that's what's important to remember when talking about it in that perspective. Yes, we can all have our preferences. But one thing I didn't hear anybody mention so far was grooming. You can be groomed at any age, and it doesn't matter how old you are or how old the person is that is grooming you. Have you seen those documentaries about like people in their 50s falling for internet scammers because they're lonely, because they're alone? They get groomed by these people online and end up in marriages just for visas or just for money, and they end up getting scammed. That's grooming. That's not an age issue. That can happen universally. So to just say that yeah, these girls were young, they were fast, or they were already sexual at that age or whatever. Like grooming can happen at any age, at any point. And I think it is kind of, and I say this very respectfully, it is naive to think that somebody like R. Kelly was not grooming people, was not grooming the people around him, was not grooming these girls in particular, no matter how old they are. Like, I guarantee you, take out the context of R. Kelly and being a young girl and he's like a rapper or a singer or whatever. How many of you would meet like somebody you idolize as a celebrity, like a sports person, for example? How many would change your behavior around them to try and impress them? Not even necessarily to perform a sexual act. So if you think that gets their attention, maybe you would do it. It doesn't make it right, and it doesn't mean that the girl was 100% consenting or was in control of her own actions. I just think regardless of what you think about his music or him as a person, or whether there was solid evidence or proof, either way, like for everyone saying, show me the proof that he did it. Well, show me the absolute solid proof that he didn't. And if it's enough to suspect him, I think that's enough for a conversation for, to have openly without people pinning each other down. And my final point that I want to make, this is going to be quite a dramatic comparison, so please bear with me. Somebody like Donald Trump, for example, I think most of us can agree, I don't know everyone's political affiliations, but I think most of us can agree that socially he's not a very nice person. He's got a lot of views that potentially a lot of us don't agree with. When all those things came out about him, like raping women, molesting women, sexualizing women inappropriately, sexually harassing women, for example, how many of you like held that against him just because all of his other views weren't in line with yours? But the minute it's somebody like R. Kelly, because we like his music, we start to turn a blind eye, even though he's accused of very similar things to these other people that we are speaking out against. Just because you find something in him that you enjoy and that you like, you try to find ways to justify what he did. You lose sight of the actual action. You think about what you get out of him as a person or as a celebrity. I don't know if that makes much sense. Sorry.
No,
but
you're making perfect sense.
that's all I wanted to add to this conversation. So thank you for letting me speak, and I found it very interesting hearing everybody's opinions.
Thank you so much for sharing. We're gonna do radar because Michael, you already spoke. You snuck yours in.
My bad.
Before you get back
to
to you,
Brother Spring,
hello everyone.
Brother Spring, we the same age, feel me? And there is a certain mentality in New York, especially when it comes to women, that can be very detrimental. And I want you to truly listen to how you talk about females and how other men talk about women, right? And how they regard women as being women, and that, listen, man, it's truly just listening, man. Because I feel for you, I understand your mindset, I get it, but when it comes to this kind of conversation and the sensitivity of the conversation, you have to be open enough to realize your own misconceptions and preconceptions and all these kind of things, and how the social climate of New York can affect your own judgment. And I really want to see you kind of get out of that, by your own will. But I just wanted to offer that to y'all, to you specifically. The peace and love to y'all.
Not just in New York. Go ahead.
thank you so much, Michael. We're gonna do radar, then paradise, and then I want to hear from Carl real quick. So go ahead, radar.
Hello. Can you hear me, guys?
Who just asked to be added to the queue? Oh, Anthony. Okay. All right, cool. So after Carl, and then we're gonna go back to the order with Bob. Okay, so go ahead, radar.
Yes. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone in the room today. I'm in the UK. It's after 3 in the morning, so forgive me if I forget my words. Um, Basically, I'm kind of the opinion that we're starting from a place where we're we have to accept that our societies are very corrupt, and R. Kelly is a product of our societies, and anybody else who is in a situation that tends to go against the rights of others, or doing something that harms other people. So the question that we really need to ask is are we going to open our eyes and have a sort of unified view of what is acceptable? Because as with the situation, as the last speaker, Sana, was talking about Donald Trump, um, we've all seen in Technicolor on all of our screens how a number of close people of the same kind of identification and ideas can facilitate a man such as Donald Trump. And it is a very similar situation with R. Kelly, because there are a ton of people connected to him who would have known what was going on behind the scenes, and they turned a blind eye, or actually facilitated his deceptions and just abuse of power that he had. We do act a little bit more immorally around celebrities, and we allow them to do things that maybe we would like to do ourselves, because we put them on a pedestal and sort of see them as deities. And they kind of, because they give us pleasure and they show us these amazing talents, we shouldn't hold them uh, to the same standards as we would a normal person, or someone who we feel is on our level. So I think, you know, rather than looking outward and canceling everyone, which I think is just a way to make people feel like they're doing something, like you feel good about yourself because I can cancel R. Kelly's music, or whoever's music, or you know anyone who seems to not be doing the right thing at that particular time. I think we need to really just look at our standards as human beings and recognize that we have got some fundamental problems with our societies, and and this goes right back to parenting and social situations, and obviously the ongoing racism that is causing a problem around the world, not just in obviously the US, which obviously is one of the major hubs of racism. But I can tell you, for one, racism is a big problem also here in the UK and around the world, if you care to look at the news and open your eyes. So I'm gonna come to an end with this, but it's just a kind of like an inward looking situation right now, where we just really fundamentally have to look at ourselves and say, like, what kind of human beings do we want to be? We can't look at our children and say, you know you've got to be better than me, when they have the examples that we are setting them in front of their eyes. That children are basically going to clone their parents and the people around them. And if they see you speaking one way and acting another way, well, they're confused. So what do you expect them to do? It's something that we have to fundamentally set straight in society, and it's going to be very, very difficult. But if we want a better society and we want to stop things like this happening, and have everyone on the same page and be able to talk rather than fight all the time, we really have to look at ourselves and start changing ourselves. And thank you for allowing me to speak. Thank you so much. We got Paradise. We got Paradise in the house.
Hi, hi. Thank you guys for letting me talk. Firstly, I want to say the documentary, the R. Kelly documentary, that literally just is a small light on R. Kelly. I'm from Chicago. Um, I grew up in Chicago, born and raised in Chicago. I know a lot of females from Chicago, and that documentary is just a small light on R. Kelly in Chicago specifically. The whole thing with 17 and 18 year olds that he might have messed with. There's a bunch of girls that haven't been able to speak. that he has done things to. Like there's a lot of underage girls in Chicago. Like someone spoke on grooming. He's been grooming preteens for years. He's been doing this since the 90s. Like it's it's a thing that everybody knows. It's a thing that everyone knows he does, and it breaks my heart for the girls, for the black girls that he's doing it to hear other black men get on the stage, or just to hear other people get on the stage and say, "Well, I know what he's doing is wrong, but who cares?" That's basically what you're saying. Who cares? And it's you're literally taking a victim and you're spitting in their face. You're not protecting them when you say, "Oh, he did it, but who cares? I'm still gonna listen to it anyways." You're supporting it. His music is his trophy. His victims, they're his trophy. So when you constantly feed into it and feed into it, you're feeding into his ego. You're giving him exactly what he wants. Yes, people make mistakes. I completely understand it. But in R. Kelly's head, he didn't do anything wrong. When you don't see that it's wrong to sleep with a child, to take her innocence from her, I can't listen to your music. I can't respect you. I can't trust anything that's coming out your mouth. And this is literally for me witnessing him doing things. Like, really, people from Chicago, a lot of women and girls from Chicago know this man. He is sick. And it's heartbreaking, honestly, to hear so many people still now, even with the little documentary that came out, still sit here and say, "Well, I know he's doing it wrong, but I don't care." That is so sick to me, and that's just all I wanted to say.
Thank you for sharing that. We got Carl. Carl, did you want to share real quick?
Yeah, I'm still here. This is such a heated conversation, and Laban, you handle it so well. Oh my God. Anyway, I know how controversial this is, and I'm from Chicago as well. Um, that's probably why I make statements but don't judge. Um, but my story is just a little bit different because I was molested at 14 by a woman of 27, and she had taken my virginity. Not only that, but she had gave me crabs at 14. Um, I'm only saying this because the guys kept making a statement about women who would do that. But the thing is, my whole family praised me for fucking a 27-year-old woman at 14, and excused the fact that the woman had burned me. Um, I just wanted to say that there's no comparison between men and women, um, because the guys are pretty much praised for fucking at that age. I just needed to get that out of my system. That was it.
Late,
I'm just
late.
and as far as R. Kelly is concerned, um, I I don't really listen to his music anymore. I can't say that I agree with the whole mutant thing, but I can say that I don't listen to him, and I don't listen to him for other reasons. Because I had a friend that I used to drop off at his studio, and like she was in love with this dude, and I was basically in love with her at the time. She was of age though, but at the same time, it's like this dude was taking everybody's women, including mine. So I don't like for that shit. Just wanted to get that shit out there.
Yo, Laban, can I please respond to my guy?
Who's saying that?
This Zaman down here.
All right, go ahead.
Hey, man, when I was 15 years old, I was dating a 32-year-old. You know what I'm saying? And I was praised for that. You know what I mean? The only person that found something wrong with it was my mom. You know what I mean? Not only that, my first child was by an older woman. When I was 17, she was fully grown woman. You know what I'm saying? So it is a double standard. Now, this has nothing to do with what, I'm not saying that to justify what R. Kelly did, because I think he's a piece of shit for what he did. You know what I'm saying? My only thing. And I still stand on, I think R. Kelly is a piece of shit for what he did.
but I just don't think he. I just don't. I'll still listen to the music. That's my whole point.
Okay, so I know we missed Tam. I wanted to get Tam, and then after Tam, we're gonna do Bob, Destiny, and Imani. Tam, are you still there? Tam, she probably sleep.
I thought Anthony wanted to respond
Oh,
to her.
sorry, Anthony. I'm sorry about that, Anthony. Go ahead, Anthony, and then we're gonna do Bob, Destiny, and Imani. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is probably going to be my last point. Um, but I just wanted to say, since some folks still may be in defense of Robert, have some hesitations or reservations, about the whole incident. If the folks on the stage aren't enough, if the women that haven't came forward aren't enough, then maybe we should listen to the man himself. And unless this is some altered audio or somebody is photoshopping his lyrics around, he literally says in this song, what is the name of it? Something about crotch. What is it? I like the crotch on you. I believe this came from his very first album. He says, I'm just going to cut to the chase. He says, only if you're old enough, baby, 18 and over or 16 and under. Oh, but how I wonder. Yeah, so he's already telling you, right? He's already telling you that he's in spaces and places that he doesn't need to be, right? So to defend Robert at this point, after
What song is
16
this?
and under, it's I Like the
What song is
Crush
it?
on You from his very first album, because it seems like y'all know his music kind of well. So after 16 and under, oh, but how I wonder. And we also know that he worked on Aaliyah's Age is But a Number, Age is
Age ain't
Nothing But a
nothing but a
Number,
number.
and all the other realities that
That's
the other
Leah's
women
song.
have
He
revealed.
sung that song.
Yeah, but hold
Oh
on, because we know
man.
that he worked for her. Okay, you'd be defending someone who already confessed to the act, that already confessed to the deed. So what else is there to argue about if he's innocent or not? When he already told us on the first album, if I'm not mistaken, that's his first album, that he was already looking and already plotting on black children and black women. So I want folks to really sit with that and think about why Robert is so important in your own life that you can't change a radio station, right? You can't skip the song in your queue, okay? Bopping your head knowing he admitted to being a predator in the same song. You're bopping your head too, like he's preying on the community, which is why he calls himself the Pied Piper of R&B. Like, ask yourself, if you just relinquish your power, right? If you hold, but I think y'all don't want to. I think some folks don't want to relinquish the power because if you hold R. Kelly accountable, that would also mean you would have to hold the folks around you accountable. And some of y'all fathers got to go, right? Some of y'all uncles got to go. Like y'all got to
Deep.
go, right? And y'all know that. So that's why y'all want to gaslight us in these specific rooms. Y'all want to gaslight us in real life because y'all know what's going on. Y'all know what's going on, and y'all can't tell us what's going on because you're defending it. You're defending it. You don't even want to truly entertain it. So I just want to like really like have a sit in that. And even if you aren't, the predator that's actively going out, the simple fact that you know what's going on and you ain't saying nothing makes you just as bad. It makes you just as bad because it's happening in your own house and y'all know it. But that's it.
Thank you so much, Anthony. We got Bob, and then we got Destiny and Imani.
I listen to Aaliyah still.
Okay, I don't listen to R. Kelly. I would never listen to a pedophile or rapist. But like a lot of it seems like everybody has their line or something they'll draw. Like I've seen like women in here saying men are defending R. Kelly. I've seen a lot of black women defend Michael Jackson, and I don't know if that's because the kids were boys or Michael Jackson is just so great and they love him. They defend Cardi B. She says she was drugging niggas. So feel like everybody has a. I would never listen to R. Kelly, but I also do listen to people that the general public think is homophobic or transphobic. So I don't. I would personally, if I could control everybody's music, I would say the nigga never get played. If I could control it, I'd kill him, but I can't. But so everybody has
I
there's
agree.
this certain line they'll draw these things that they won't do. And one more thing, so like I'm just making a point that everybody tries to justify, like if somebody the public doesn't like at that point, everybody that likes them tries to justify why they was listening to them. Like I've seen people justify listening to Michael Jackson, like I said. So I don't really know like who to cancel because everybody don't believe in the same shit. Like the music don't mean the same thing to everybody. But I would never listen to any pedophile.
That's a good ass point.
Yo, I'm reading the lyrics to this R. Kelly song my brother just mentioned, and that's nowhere in this song. See, I don't want to live in a society where the guillotine is thirsty, meaning that was an old saying in France. And what that just meant was mass hysteria and people just being guilty just because I say you're guilty. Only reference to 18 he mentioned in this song at the end, he says, and we could shoot ball right on 18th Street.
Did he say what the song was?
Yeah, he said it's
I like the crotch
I
on you.
What was it? I'm sorry. What was the name of it?
I like the crotch on you.
I think that is a lyric in the song, though. I'm looking at the lyrics right
But they
now.
don't have it written down on the lyric sheet. I didn't listen to it. I'm just reading the lyric sheet. And there's only one reference to the number 18 where it says we could shoot ball on 18th Street. It's right at the end.
I will say that the Pied Piper thing is kind of weird because if y'all are familiar, the Pied Piper had that flute and he would draw in all the little kids. So, I mean, that says a lot.
Just
Yeah,
really
that's
quick.
definitely.
Just really quick on a point of fact. Just go ahead and take your time and read the lyrics carefully. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, I'm just gonna count the verses, not the hook. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that the fourth one down? No, I'm sorry. I went too far. This is like the third or fourth one down. It says, "Come on, baby. Let me see you swing it, swing it. I like the way you come up, baby. When you wiggle it, tasty. And once you see the D's, oh, you're gonna want to freak me, freak me. Only if you're old enough, baby. 18 and over or 16 and under." My man did not lie.
Yep.
He told no
I
lie.
just
He
read
did
it.
not lie.
He
said
did not
it.
lie.
You're right. He missed. I missed that part. I don't have my
I'm about to
glasses.
screenshot
But wait
it.
a minute now. Let's do this moment of
TRT
self-reflection.
it.
Wait a minute. Let's do this moment of self-reflection now, right? Because this is a moment for you, DJ Fridays.
Whoa.
To understand.
Before you come at me, I just said I was wrong.
I didn't interrupt you now.
I never professed to be perfect. So don't come for me.
I didn't interrupt you. I let you speak. But now I want to
No,
speak.
don't mention my name because I don't ever profess to be perfect, and I just said I was
We're in
wrong.
a public conversation. We're in a public dialogue, and you need to understand that your actions have consequences beyond your intent. Now, what you may have intended to do was one thing, but what you're doing is something different. And that's why I'm cautioning you. This is an opportunity for you to reflect on the impact you're having on the community when you seek to defend a man who is morally reprehensible.
I'm not defending nobody.
Well, that's what you did, sir. That's what you did. And you did so without being thorough. And I'm cautioning you that the result and the consequence of your action is a man like R. Kelly preying on our community. That's what I wanted to say to you.
I agree.
May I please say something? I thought we were going in order, but I don't know if there's a cue or something, but can it be added to that?
Yeah, we're gonna do we got Destiny and Monty next, then Michael. So go ahead, Destiny.
Hi. So I just want to put a quick disclaimer out there, and I think this will lead into some of the cancel culture. I am not a fan of R. Kelly, and he's always given me the creeps since I was young. And his music doesn't appeal to me. And I've always kind of reached for, I have had to dig deep my whole life, but I've always reached for music that truly, truly, truly speaks to me. And I found some really beautiful gems. So I just want to put that out there just so you know where I'm at. Like, I'm not defending R. Kelly, and I'm not a fan. So I didn't really have much to lose. But people made really great points about grooming, and I wanted to just poke that again because grooming is manipulation, and grooming is taking advantage of how people look up to you, how people see power in you, see celebrity in you, and that leads people into cults. And so you have a conversation about consent. Consent is not black and white, you know. So when you're talking about little girls or 18 and they know what they're doing, it doesn't quite work like that. I know we'd all like to think we have pure, perfect free will, but in reality, we are being manipulated all the time by ads, by people, by our unconscious thoughts. So grooming is a huge, huge part of this conversation. A lot of the women that people were saying, oh, they were all older. They were older by time we spoke to them as the community, as a culture. They were grown by the time we found them and they got to tell their stories. But they were young when they got started with him. So let's not forget that. And when powerful men come down, I agree, there's a lot of it takes down the community around them. It takes down people's livelihoods, people's jobs and things. And someone pointed out that powerful men stand on that so that they don't get canceled. And so when we're talking about somebody like R. Kelly or Eddie Long, somebody coming down and then affecting your livelihood, it is troubling. But we need to kind of begin to stand on our own. We may have to dig deep, just like I had to dig deep to find music that wasn't about my ass and wasn't about sex and wasn't about these things at 12 without much internet connection. You know what I'm saying? We have to dig deep as people, as individuals, to establish independence and to work with each other and be transparent with each other. You know, I think it is unfortunate. There are a lot of unfortunate things about cancel culture. Me personally, I have canceled R. Kelly. I canceled R. Kelly a long ass time ago when I was hearing stuff in the music. I made me sick to my stomach, and I'm very sensitive. So even hearing certain people in the chat talking made me sick, and they're not even on the radio. You know what I'm saying? So I just can't hear it. But I can't control if somebody else has not canceled R. Kelly. Like, Black people are not a monolith. I'm over here listening to my jazz